Hello Mo Ramzy family, and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I'm so sorry guys about last week. As I have mentioned on the channel that I had lost a friend last week and I was just going through the most. I think I was just emotionally unavailable. I struggled. I tried shooting a video last week, but it was just not working. It was just not coming out because I usually shoot my videos like on a Saturday and a Sunday, but we found out about my friend's death like first thing Saturday morning, like 7 a.m. So I mean, the rest of the weekend and the whole week was like ruined basically. So yes, we are back, and as you can see by the title of this video, I'm gonna talk about 3 things that I learned, or 3 things that I'm gonna take away from my friend's life, how he lived his life. 3 things that I'm gonna take away that I'm actually gonna apply into my own life. And without wasting any time, I'm just gonna get into those 3 things. The first one is that purpose has nothing to do with age. We get so hurt. I think it hurts even more when you find out that somebody as young as him, like 29 years old, you're like, this guy had so many plans about his life. He just got his driver's license, which means he was planning to buy a car sooner or later. Or, he had more plans. He needed to buy his own place. He had plans. He's still very young. He still needed to do more things, about his life. He still needed to live his life. But one thing we're forgetting is that we are actually born on earth to fulfill a purpose. And I mean, once you fulfill your purpose, really there's no reason for you to hang around on earth. And I say purpose has nothing to do with age, because it's not like when you're born you sign a contract with God that says you are going to live until you're 50 years old or until you're 10 years older. It's a matter of you've now served your purpose. Now it's time to meet your maker. And it hurts when a young person passes on, because we don't understand. We're just like, no, you had so much ahead of you. But God, on the other hand, is saying, my child, you have served your purpose, therefore you qualify to come and live on earth with me and the rest of the people. So it hurts. I mean, a colleague of mine also just found out last week that her niece, who was like 15 years old, passed on in her sleep. And so many unanswered questions that are actually never going to get answered. But the only logical thing is that this child has probably already served her purpose, or she will serve her purpose, by her dying. Her death will serve a purpose, and I mean, the parents were really just so defeated, because your child just peacefully dies in their sleep. You still don't want to accept that they're gone. Why your child, but again, I think the only thing that makes sense to me is that they've served their purpose, or their death will serve a purpose. So yeah, that's one thing. One thing that comforts me about my friend's death is accepting that he's definitely served his purpose, and he's done so by how he lived his life. He was always a helper. A lot of people actually said that he was always there. Whenever they needed help, they would just call him, and he would make a plan to assist them however he could with the little resources that he had. And for me, that tells me that was his purpose. He did that without much effort, and yeah, So the second thing I learned about him, which I actually learned from his friend, one of his friends, and I thought, you know what, this is really true. He lived by the saying that, and I think it's a scripture in the Bible. I think it's Ecclesiastes, somewhere in the Bible. I'll find it. I'll put the scripture somewhere here, where it says, don't take too hard people's opinions. Like, people will talk, people will have opinions about you. Whether you do something, they talk. You don't do something, they talk. But that's their opinions. It has nothing to do with you. You must not apply it. Basically, you must be selective about people's opinions. Obviously, there are things that people say about you that you think, that's actually a good idea. I should apply that into my life, or I should apply that in whatever that you're doing. But then there are other opinions that you just like, nah, No, I'm not gonna take that. Sorry. Just let it get in here and get out of the other ear, and you continue with your life, child, because their opinion has nothing to do with you. Okay? Yes. So that's the life that he used to live in. People would judge, and people would project their feelings onto you, and I say it has nothing to do with you. Honestly, it has nothing to do with you. It's their problem, not yours. You move on with your life. And the third thing So the third thing I learned about my friend is how he lived his life. I know this guy lived his life to the fullest with the time that he was given and with the resources that he was given. He lived his life. Guys, like, this guy used to do the things that he really wanted to do. He actually didn't care what people say or what people do, if he wanted to do what he wanted to do. If he set his mind to do something, he did it without giving up. The only time he will stop is when the thing is complete. If he wanted to go out on a Friday night and nobody else wanted to go out, he will go out alone, even if it means getting mugged. Yes, my friend. Even if it means getting mugged because you're all on your own, he would do it. He did what he wanted to do. He didn't hold back and be like, what if I do this and people say this or this? No, he didn't care. He really lived his life. But him living his life didn't mean that he had to be rude to people or offend people. Nah, like, living his life was just basically enjoying his life and doing the things that he wanted to do. Like, for instance, he fell in love with music from an early age, as told by a friend, and he pursued his love for music. He studied music, and he was actually then serving God. He used his music to serve God. He was playing in the church, what do you call this? Yes, in the praise and worship group. Yeah. He was playing a bass guitar, and besides that, he was just a music person, So yeah, he fell in love with music. He loved his music. I think obviously he wanted to do more with regards to the music, but he was only given so little time. And with the time that he was given, he touched a lot of people's lives. Like, I was looking at the memorial service, I was like, wow, this guy actually touched a lot of people's lives. A lot of people pitched up on a Wednesday. Like, was it a Wednesday or a Thursday? Wow, why do I forget? Oh, it was a Thursday. I'm like, why? Yeah, no, this guy really, really lived his purpose, because a lot of people pitched up and a lot of people were hurt. A lot of people were asking questions. Yeah, really. People of all ages, in fact, young and old. I mean, the youth was devastated. I think they still finding it very hard to accept. Yeah, and this guy was no longer in the youth, but the youth was just, yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's my friend, and that's the life that he lived. And these are the 3 things that I learned about his life that I'm actually going to apply into my life, or that I'm actually going to take away, from his life and keep with myself. And of course, the crazy memories we had. Wow. The crazy memories we had with the time that I spent with him and our other friends. I'm definitely going to cherish those memories. And I think it's those memories that made me realize that this guy actually, he lived his life. He did the things that he wanted to do whenever, and he didn't care how people felt. I mean, you could swear at this guy, or you could prank him, or you could try and humiliate him. He'll probably just laugh it off and then move on. So even if you were trying to hurt him, he's just like, okay, whatever, and then he moves on. So your mission is not even accomplished. So yeah, those are the things that I'm gonna take away from my friend. And I'm not gonna say more with regards to this. I'm just gonna leave the video over here, and yeah, I guess I'll see you in my next video then.